Title: My stepdaughter told me I should be grateful just to sit quietly in the audience at her wedding, so I did one better. I canceled the financial transfers, skipped the ceremony, and let her father take over. Start: She said I should be grateful just to sit quietly in the audience at her wedding. Her words still echo. Sharp, condescending, a dismissal disguised as generosity. I remember staring at her then, my stepdaughter, Amelia, her lips curled in that entitled smile. She'd taken her father's arrogance and polished it into cruelty. And in that moment, something inside me hardened. Gratitude, she said? Gratitude for being treated like an unwanted guest in a family I helped build? No. Gratitude would be hers. When I married her father, Amelia was 15. Suspicious, prickly, but underneath it all, lonely. I was patient. I helped with school essays, drove her to practice, cooked her favorite pasta on nights when her father was too busy barking into his phone. For a while, she softened. She even called me Mom once, a slip she quickly corrected. But then came the inheritance. My late husband's company, his money, funneled through me until she turned 21. I managed it, invested, ensured she would never want for anything. She knew it, her father knew it, and maybe that's when resentment fermented. Not because I failed her, but because I succeeded without needing their approval. I found out the truth on a Wednesday night. Her father left his email open on the kitchen counter, careless. A draft sat there, a letter from Amelia, dictating how I should be excluded from the wedding party, how I should sit quietly, far from the spotlight. She'll cause drama otherwise, Amelia wrote. She should be grateful we're even inviting her. I closed the laptop, poured myself a glass of wine, and let the bitterness settle. They thought they were clever. They thought they were powerful. But their empire was built on my transfers, my signature, my silent compliance. And silence is a weapon when wielded correctly. I didn't shout. I didn't confront. I smiled. I kept making deposits into the wedding fund, buying her illusion of grandeur. I answered her curt texts with kindness, feigned interest in the tasteless gold-trimmed invitations, nodded when she bragged about the designer dress. Behind the mask, I moved pieces. The accounts were in my name, the investments mine to manage. I began peeling them back, redirecting, freezing, waiting. By the time she was walking down the aisle, the funds would be gone, her credit cards declined, her father forced to step into the light he always preferred lurking behind. I left subtle clues, breadcrumbs I knew they'd never see until it was too late. A declined florist payment here, a missing deposit there. Easily explained away, if they even bothered to ask me. They didn't. Arrogance blinds. The morning of the wedding, I sat at my vanity, calm, deliberate. My invitation lay on the table. I didn't need it. I wasn't going. Not to sit quietly, not to clap politely for a woman who erased me. Instead, I canceled the final transfer. One click. Clean. A silence more deafening than any outburst. Then I sent one message. Congratulations, Amelia. By the time guests arrived, the cracks began to show. The florist demanded payment before delivering the arrangements. The caterer stalled. The venue manager insisted on the balance. Her father, sweating in his overpriced suit, was forced to pull out his own card, scrambling to cover costs he hadn't prepared for. Amelia's perfect day became a negotiation, a scramble, a humiliation wrapped in lace. I didn't watch in person. I didn't need to. The calls came to me anyway. First from the planner, shrill and panicked, then from her father, voice low and furious, demanding I fix it. I sipped champagne on my balcony, listening to the chaos unfold like a symphony composed just for me. When Amelia finally called, she didn't scream, she whispered. Her voice trembled, breaking through the layers of superiority she had worn like armor. How could you? I let the silence stretch before answering. You told me to be grateful for sitting quietly in the audience, so I did one better. Her breath hitched. I could almost see the realization in her eyes that every flower missing, every meal delayed, every whispered judgment from her guests was the cost of her arrogance. She wanted me invisible. I became unforgettable. By the time the ceremony limped forward, half-decorated, delayed, brittle with tension, the guests already knew something was wrong. They whispered, they speculated. The perfect facade cracked, and through it, Amelia's insecurities poured out. No amount of vows or staged smiles could glue it back together. Her father avoided me for weeks after. Cowardice runs deep in him. But Amelia, she sent one final message, stripped of venom. I underestimated you. Yes, she did. They both did. Revenge isn't loud. It isn't messy. It's quiet, surgical, precise. It leaves no stains on your hands, only on their pride. I didn't ruin her marriage. I didn't scream or beg for inclusion. I simply withheld the lifeline they thought was theirs by right. And now, every time she looks at her wedding photos, half-bare tables, wilted flowers, forced smiles, she'll remember me. Not as the stepmother she dismissed, but as the shadow in the corner, the one she tried to erase, who erased her illusions instead. I am not grateful. I am satisfied.